Good. Okay. Hi, I'm Paige. Nice to meet you.
Hi, it's nice to meet you, Paige. I'm Gloria.
Gloria, nice to meet you. So today I'm going to be asking quite a few questions about kind of what's going on, what kind of brought you in today. But first I'd like to go over some confidentiality. Everything that's said here stays here, except for there's a few exceptions, including if you were a danger to yourself or someone else, if you reported or there's a suspicion of abuse or neglect, and that would be towards a minor, anyone under the age of 18, a vulnerable adult, or the elderly. And if for some reason I was subpoenaed by the courts, then it might be possible that some confidentiality would have to be broken. But other than that, everything in here stays confidential. And so first let's start, what is your full name?
So it's Gloria Jeeps.
Okay. And your date of birth?
10/15/62. Oh, just kidding, I'm 23. Whatever.
89.
89.
All right. So what brought you in today?
I have a couple different concerns, mainly because my boyfriend is threatening to leave me.
Okay. So what kind of concerns do you have? Has he stated why he's threatening to leave you, or?
Well, he says that I have some mood swings sometimes.
Okay. Do you feel like you experience mood swings, or do you agree with him that you have mood swings?
I don't know that I have mood swings as much as I feel like at times my life is pretty chaotic, and you know how you just go about your business and some people are just really evil and like out to get you and against you and things like that, and then other people are just super great and they're passionate about encouraging you to do stuff. It's like either one extreme or the other and nothing in between, and that adds to the chaos of life. But I don't feel like I have mood swings, not necessarily, like maybe sometimes, but that's normal.
To an extent, yes. Do you feel like your moods coincide with the people you interact with? Like, you get angry or sad or depressed when you're with people that you think are out to get you or you don't like, and happy when you're around people that you do like, or?
I'd say that's pretty consistent. I generally have conflicts with people who have issues with me or who seem to be really like negative Nancy's, but I get along with those who, you know, are nice. Obviously,
right.
Why would you be mean to somebody like that?
So anything else contributing to why you think, or he's starting to leave? Is it pretty much just the mood swings?
Well, I did kind of get a little promiscuous. I have this thing where at times when there's like an attractive guy, I'll ask him out on a date. It's not a big deal. It's just like, come on, let's just have a conversation. Cocktails and conversation.
Okay.
And who knows what will happen after the cocktails, but you know what I mean? Then it's on the cocktails, it's not on you, but it's on the cocktails. So I think that's been kind of a little bit of a issue within our relationship.
Okay.
Maybe trust a little bit.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm pretty trustworthy. I mean, at the end of the day, I go back to him. So.
Okay. So when you're asking these guys out on dates, is it with the intent that something may happen after the conversation and cocktails, or are you meaning just get to know them as like friends, or is it more than like a friends type relationship?
I think it's kind of friends, but I'm open, but not. I'm not open, like intending on cheating on my boyfriend, but I'm open to see where fate takes me. Because maybe it was fate that we had a few cocktails and then we went back to a room and messed around a little bit, or just have more cocktails.
Okay.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you don't know if you're really with the one you're supposed to be with. Like, God has a different path for you.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. How long have you been with your current boyfriend?
I have been with him for several years.
Several years? Okay.
Probably, I think 4 or so it's been now.
Okay. And have you kind of engaged in this promiscuous behavior throughout your entire relationship, or has it recently started?
I think that I've probably always been like that.
Always been? Even like past relationships, or just
Yeah.
specific past? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And has that caused significant problems in past relationships too?
Well, I'm not with them, so obviously it was my issue or their issue.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess so, a little bit. But not really, too, because some of those people I still connect with.
Okay. Anything else?
Sometimes I have problems. You know, I mentioned I ask people out on dates. The problem with that, I guess, and it's probably not polite, is they're boyfriends of classmates of mine.
Okay.
And they seem to not take very, they don't think that's respectful, I guess. Obviously, I see why they think that, but I also mean nothing by it. I'm just being a friendly girl. And girls and guys can be friends. You know what I mean, a little bit?
Yes, they can be friends to an extent. Yes.
And have cocktails and conversation.
Yes, to an extent. So how do you think your classmates feel about you asking out their boyfriends, or how do you understand that you could see why they're upset, but you still do it anyways?
Well, I can see why they're upset, because if you did that to my boyfriend, you're cruising for a bruising. Probably gonna beat you up a little bit. But not really.
Physically?
Maybe. I don't know, nobody's done it to me before, but I feel like I'd be possessive.
Okay.
Like, that's my boyfriend. I feel that the women I engage with, and then find out later that it's their boyfriend or no, it's their boyfriend, that essentially what it boils down to is that they're a bunch of jealous bitches. They're jealous! Who wouldn't be jealous if their boyfriend is out traipsing around with some other girl? So that's another reason why I understand, because I could see the jealousy, but I also understand that, you know, the chemistry, if it's not there, why couldn't you be friends type of thing?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and sometimes I think they realize their boyfriend wants me more than them. So that probably doesn't sit well, but maybe they need to do a self-check and know that that guy wasn't meant for them, because his best interest isn't them. You know, he doesn't have their best interest in their heart. So basically, I'm doing them a favor. Basically. That's what I look at it like.
Okay.
Helping everybody find their soulmate.
So, just going kind of back to with your boyfriend then, you said that you can understand what your classmates would be jealous of them going out with, their boyfriends going out with you. So do you think your boyfriend is jealous that you're going out with other guys, and that could be leading to the problems, or?
I think maybe, I think there's some of that going on. I think he definitely prefer that we stay in a very monogamous relationship, don't explore other possibilities, and essentially don't have a social life. You know, I've always found, too, for me, I have a lot more friendships that are with guys than I do girls, so part of me thinks that if I just settle down 100%, that I'm actually just not allowing myself to make friends.
Is it possible to be friends with guys but not engage in sexual interaction with them?
I think so.
Is that ever your intent? Or are you just
Probably
kind of leaving it open?
Well, leaving it open, but going into it with the intention that that isn't necessarily going to happen. So, does that? Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So, with the promiscuity, how are you? Do you still engage with sexual activity with your boyfriend?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. About how frequently?
I try to do it at least every day.
With your boyfriend?
Yep.
Okay.
Every day. I think sex is a very healthy part of the relationship, and it relieves stress.
Relieves stress. Okay.
And when he feels like he needs to leave me, I feel like this connects us closer, and it'll make it hard for him to leave. If he's mad at me, it's like the makeup sex is the best sex. And then he ferments about it. So, but maybe I'm wrong, because obviously there's still some issues, and that's why I'm here, but so pretty frequently, I mean, it's pretty rare that we're not having sex, I'd say.
Okay.
Unless I have had
And do you
sex
feel
with
it's still
someone else.
enjoyable for both of you, or?
As far as I can tell, I think it's
okay.
enjoyable.
And then how often do you normally go on these dates with other guys?
It is so variable. Sometimes it's a couple a month, and other times it's, a dry spell. You don't meet, you're in a class first semester, and it's not till the next semester that you meet new people, and you have new people to meet, So it's not like I'm going bar to bar looking for somebody. It's people I'm meeting in everyday life. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So have you gotten, have you been to counseling before or done an assessment before? And
I haven't.
this is your first time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are your feelings about it, or how are you thinking about it, or did you want to come, or are you coming mostly because you're afraid your boyfriend will leave you?
Mainly because I'm afraid my boyfriend will leave me. There was a recent incident that really pushed him away, both physically and our mental connection. And then, I've really done some self-reflection, and I know in my heart of hearts that there would just be a real black hole in my soul if he left me. I don't think I would fare very well without him in my life if he was gone. So that reflection time I did after this most recent incident is kind of what made me decide I'd come see you.
Okay. And how are you feeling about it? Coming in and trying to get help with these issues, if you've never engaged in it before?
Guess I'm okay with it. I don't know, because I don't know what to expect.
Right.
So ultimately, if it means I can stay with him and I'm not going to have a dark soul and sadness and the whole world's coming to an end feeling, then I have nothing to lose to come in here type.
So now, a few questions that ask everyone that comes in. A little more serious questions, kind of about suicide, homicide, serious issues like that. So have you ever, or are you currently feeling suicidal or feeling like you want to harm yourself?
I don't know that I'm suicidal, but I definitely feel the need to harm myself from time to time.
Okay. And how often is time, would you say time to time is?
I don't keep track. So, but I do currently have an infection from cutting myself with my boyfriend's shoe. And it happened to be dirty. It's the only reason I got an infection. Otherwise, who gives a shit that I cut myself with a shoe?
Was it intentionally?
Yeah.
Or intentionally? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. And where did you cut yourself?
I actually did on my thigh.
Okay.
So it's a little less noticeable to the public. It was more, private that way too.
How deep would you say did you cut? Was it did you drop blood and did it scab over? Okay.
I did draw blood. I actually had to get stitches in part of it.
You did have to get stitches.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. That was unfortunate too. But yeah, I did have to get stitches in part of it. And there's there was scabbing over. It did take a while to heal because there's a little bit of an infection because of the dirt and shit in his shoe got in my cut. And that's about it in regards to that.
And was that the first time you had harmed yourself, or have you harmed yourself different times in the past?
Well, when in this most recent incident, when he threatened to leave me because of a Facebook posting I had done, I felt like that he was overreacting, but I guess you could say I was maybe hurting myself. I had taken a whole bunch of pills. He overreacted. He rushed me into a hospital after finding me kind of drunk and naked at home. He was at a business meeting or something like that. I don't really remember it very well, to be honest with you, but I did definitely have to go to the hospital and have my stomach purged.
Okay.
So.
Do you know what kind of pills you took?
A whole mishmash of shit. I basically went in the cupboard and like made a cocktail of pills.
Okay.
You know, it was like a little bit of uppers, a little bit of downers, a little bit of who the hell knows what that was because it didn't even have a label on it.
Okay. And then you mixed that with alcohol. Do you remember about how much alcohol you drank?
I was drinking most of the day, off and on.
Throughout the day?
It was my day off. And I would say it probably was the equivalent to maybe 6 or 7 shots.
And what were you drinking?
Tequila.
Tequila, okay. And did you do that with the intent?
Well, no, I actually, you know, I was having my shots. It was my day off. It was my time to relax. And then the pills piece was intentional for sure.
Pills piece, okay.
Yeah.
Was it with the intent to kill yourself?
No, not necessarily. It wasn't really anything about that except for just more to just relax and kick back and enjoy my day off. And that's why I'm saying he overreacted. Like, who the fuck leaves their business meeting? That was his promotional meeting to take me to the hospital. Like, at the end of the day, I probably could have slept it off and been fine. You know, why raise a red flag? But then again, that's why I'm here, because he feels the need for me to see you. So...
So are you kind of angry or upset with him that you feel like he overreacted?
I'm a little upset. I feel like we could have talked about it and we could talk about and have a little bit more open communication what his expectations are of me. Perhaps maybe I'm too wild for him. I don't know. But I feel like we just need to have more open communication too, instead of getting you involved almost. But again, you might be able to really help shed some light on this whole issue with him and what's going on with him and why this isn't really always working out.
Yeah. And definitely throughout our time, depending on how our sessions move, that might be an option to actually bring him in and we can do like a couples counseling or kind of see where his perspective is too once we get to a certain point. Do you kind of see why he was concerned about it, or?
Yes and no. I think he was more concerned about the fact that I was naked, and not necessarily about my actions.
Okay.
And I know why he was concerned. It's because there was some guys over prior to my Facebook posting. So I think that was his main concern at the root of it all. He was probably concerned that he knew guys were over, and then all of a sudden, bam, he comes home and I'm naked and drunk and like not necessarily making sense.
Right.
So I get it. He's probably a little jealous that I had some guys over, and you know, I think I have more guy friends than he does, so I think that's part of it too. But like we said, we can worry about him later. We're talking about me and what's going on here. So I get it. I get why he's a little upset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so just to finish up quick, because we're running a little bit out of time, if I help you, or if you, what will it look like to you? How will you know you are better?
My boyfriend won't leave me, and
Okay.
he might be able to accept me kind of for who I am, and we can hopefully have that good communication, and maybe even learn how to tolerate jealous bitches, and these other problematic people in my life.
Okay.
So, and try to maybe even have a better outlook on life. Like I mentioned, the chaos and the one end of the spectrum or the other. I'd like to have a middle. I'd like to have a gray area, and that's how I'd know.
Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.